before you head out of here, I got to ask one thing. I mean, your besties now, your girl Martha Stewart. I just want to know that picture floating around the internet, her and Pete Davidson holding hands. Do we get the cosign here? I'll say opposite. I just think the meme's hilarious. I'm just like, I'm like, Martha Stewart broke up Kim and
I think
that would be hilarious.
Shout out to Pete, man. He's not taking Martha from me. I know that was, he's friend zoned, but Pete Davidson's a badass, man. I think he's dope. He just seems like an innocent, funny dude, and he's taking everyone's. So I love Pete Davidson. Yeah. He's not taking mine.
I mean, respect. The only memory I have of Pete Davidson, he was still working at SNL, and this is when those feet only scooters, whatever they were called, were the rage. He wrote a lime green Segway thing down the street going to SNL. I'm like, who the hell is riding on? I'm like, that's Pete Davidson. I'm like, dude, damn, okay.
I love that. I think we'd be boys. He seems dope, man. I want to befriend that kid.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, dude, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out. And we all love Betty, Get Money, and it's a bop. And obviously, shout out to TikTok and everything you're doing there. Before we wrap up, I mean, that's added a whole new layer of you being able to communicate with people in such a great way. How is that changed your life in a way that you can reach people more so than you already were?
TikTok's interesting because for the longest time, my songs would pop off on there, but I always thought I used to think it was corny because at one point it was just kids doing weird dances and I didn't like it. But now, I've been on it more and there's a lot of good, pretty funny content on there. It's good. And they would always try to force me to make videos. And then I realized that I could just go on there and be myself. I could literally just go on there and just wheel on moms and people would love it. So, I've gotten a lot of fans off of there. And honestly, I think the main thing that I've noticed now is that just rather than people coming up and being like, oh, you look just like Young Gravy. This used to happen all the time. People would walk by me and be like, oh, you look just like Young Gravy. And I'd be like, yeah, I get that all the time. And that's the end of the interaction. But now it's people know because they've seen my face enough up close where they'll pull up and be like, oh, let me take a picture.
That's awesome.
And which is cool. I don't mind it, but it gets hectic. Like yesterday, we tried to walk through Soho, and it was a shit show. But yeah, I'm more recognized now. I would say it definitely helps with the music, streaming, and everything. And just general, having my name on a flyer or something like that is gonna have a little more effect now because people know the name. So shout out to TikTok for that. I think they're doing a lot for small artists too. I was just speaking with Nicky Yor.
Oh,
he's got a song blowing up, and he, if it wasn't for TikTok, his song wouldn't be massive right now. So it is kind of almost in a way, doing what SoundCloud used to do and what SoundCloud did for me, which was giving artists with no support, some way to get exposure.
And like you mentioned, giving people an outlet to, once they figure it out, truly be themselves and be accepted for that.
Yeah. So it's cool, man. I got love for TikTok.